got things to do. We've got things to get up and get going and get gooing and get moving and get grooving. So I'm just going to jump into it because there's so much to talk about. I have no idea how long this is going to take. All right, folks, I hope you're excited about the news this week because we've got lots to talk about. I appreciate everybody being here for Thumb on the Pulse. I hope you're excited because my heart's racing with all this news we got to talk about. So let's get moving, huh? Finding everything that I need. All right. Hey guys, welcome to Thumb on the Pulse. My name's thumbspazm. Thank you again for being here. We've got so much to talk about. I'm going to try to jump into it as fast as I can. Merry Christmas, everybody. We've got some wild news for you, like I promised. As usual, we always start off with a little bit of console news. I feel like we've beaten the console news to death as far as Xbox and PS5. We even tried to get you guys a little bit more fresh news with the Atari that was coming out. There's a new Atari on the market that's capable of high definition gameplay as well as internal storage, basically a small little PC for your TV. All sorts of console news, but this one was too good to not talk about. Speaking of fresh consoles, have you ever wondered while you were gaming, man, I wish I had a nice, hot, warm, fresh bucket KFC right now? Well, your problems have been solved, folks. KFC has teamed up with some computer designers to create an actual KFC console. That's right, folks. You know how your PC gets really hot when you're gaming? They found a way to filter that hot air into a central area to where you have a gaming console that keeps your chicken warm. Let me read some statements from the articles that we found about this. Your chicken will be kept hot thanks to a custom-built cooling system that keeps the console's hardware at a regular temperature while using that heat produced by its components to warm the chicken chamber. Interior specs include an Intel NUC9 Extreme Compute element, as well as two Seagate Barracuda 1TB solid-state drives for storage. The console's also rumored to be able to handle virtual reality gaming, as well as pretty smooth gameplay at 240 frames and 4K display resolution. So, based on the reports on this actual chicken-loving console, it might actually be pretty good. There's no price points out there available, no release date on when it's going to come out, but KFC's not shy to teaming up with other companies. They've actually just recently released a pair of Crocs that are sponsored by KFC, so if you want those chicken legs at the bottom of your chicken legs, there's KFC Crocs out there, but if you guys want, there are also a KFC console out there. Man, I promise you guys, I'm not clucking around. We are going to, as promised, talk a little bit about the Game Awards that happened. We let you guys watch it with me. My intention was to play a little bit of Assassin's Creed while we watched the Game Awards, but I was so enthralled. First of all, the Game Awards went on far longer than I had anticipated. I really thought it was going to be a bit shorter of a broadcast. But secondly, there was just so much going on. I kind of had to focus to pay close attention to not miss anything. So many announcements, so many fun interviews. Well, not necessarily interviews, but reactions and presentations and things from the creators of the games, especially some of the smaller developing companies like Inner Sloth with Among Us. It was just really fun to watch everybody get the awards because it seems so almost produced when they're at an event and you walk up on stage and you give your speech and things like that. But this time there was like they gave their speeches at home and like they did their best to be with their partners that made the games with them, but you know, they really had to represent the whole company this time. So it was really interesting to see those reactions. Starting off with some of the, you know, less glitzy awards, the ones that probably weren't necessarily televised or what. We did get a bunch of esports awards. Best esports team was G2 Esports. Esports host was a gentleman whose name I can't pronounce, so you'll have to look that one up. Esports game of the year was League of Legends. The esports event of the year was the League of Legends World Championship 2020. Esports coach was Danny Sorensen. Esports athlete of the year was Hyo Soo. And then the content creator of the year was Valkyrie, which was kind of neat. And I can attest to that. Valkyrie did some pretty neat things this year, so I wasn't mad about that. I wasn't upset that I didn't win. I mean, I was pretty excited for her. Not jealous. Not jealous. Some of the more fun, highly touted, you know, headliner type awards. Multiplayer Game of the Year, like I said, Among Us won a few awards, I think, and this was one of them. Multiplayer Game of the Year. Sports and Racing Game, or Sports/Racing Game of the Year. I was really excited because Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 won that one. Best Simulator or Strategy Game was Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm sure you all could have projected that. Family Game of the Year was Animal Crossing's New Horizons. Fighting Game of the Year was Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. RPG Game of the Year was Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I'm still looking to buy, so if anybody sees that on sale, let me know, please and thank you. Action Adventure Game of the Year, The Last of Us Part 2. We'll be saying that name a lot, so be prepared. Action Game of the Year, Hades, which was another smaller independent company. Innovation in Accessibility, Last of Us Part 2 also did that. It's completely accessible for people that are blind. Or not completely accessible, but pretty damn close. VR and AR Game of the Year was Half-Life Alyx, which is by one of my favorite companies of all time, Valve. I think Half-Life Alyx is by Valve. Let me double check that so I can make sure that I'm not full of crap. It is by Valve. Fantastic. I was right. Yay for me. Community Support Game of the Year was Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. Mobile Game of the Year was Among Us. Debut Indie Game of the Year was Phasmophobia. Indie Game of the Year overall was Hades again. Ongoing Game of the Year, No Man's Sky, for its revival that it saw this year. Tell Me Why won for Games for Impact of the Year. Performance of the Year was Laura Bailey's performance as Abby in The Last of Us Part 2. Audio Design of the Year was again The Last of Us Part 2. Score and Music of the Year, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Art Direction of the Year, Ghost of Tsushima. Best Narrative of the Year, The Last of Us Part 2. The most anticipated game of the year, Elden Ring, which was a surprise because I had literally never heard of that game until it was announced as the most anticipated game of the year. So still have to look into that. And then the biggest awards of the year, of course, were the Game Direction Award of the year and obviously Game of the Year. Both of those titles went to The Last of Us Part 2. Just a quick rundown of the awards that were given. Thank you for the notification that Final Fantasy VII's on sale. I will maybe be buying it today. The next neat, exciting story that we have on the docket that I'm really excited to bring to you guys is news about Mass Effect. Now, again, we're not going to go over all of the games that were announced during the Game Awards, but this was one of the big trailers a lot of people were confused about when they saw it because we didn't necessarily expect a Mass Effect announcement this year. However, there was a trailer that rolled during the Game Awards for what we believe is to be named Mass Effect 5. If you guys aren't aware, there's a lot of lore behind the Mass Effect success and failures, the team that's created them, as well as the company BioWare. Mass Effect kind of put BioWare on the map as far as a highly respected game development company in the industry. They put out Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 to a lot of acclaim. If you guys aren't familiar with the games, I'm not as familiar with the games as I'd like to be, but I have played them and I worked in the industry when they were released, so I understand all the hype and the fandom that is behind these games. Eventually, because BioWare was doing so well, EA purchased the company. When EA purchased the company, they teamed up with developers that they thought would be necessary and let go of developers that they didn't think would be necessary and worked on a title called Mass Effect Andromeda. This game left a lot to be desired, to say the least. It did not connect up with Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, which was kind of a big selling point for those games because you could, they had some interconnectivity, not just amongst the storylines, but with the actual gameplay and save files and things like that. Mass Effect Andromeda didn't do the same thing, and then the team at BioWare, or rather more of a B team side, were tasked with making another game called Anthem that EA really wanted to bank on as a kind of a microtransaction gold mine. Anthem also left a lot to be desired, unfortunately. Graphically, as far as I understand, artistically, they were really great, beautiful games, but there wasn't much content to them. Well, now it's being announced that a lot of the original developers from Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 kind of scattered amongst the developers' universe there. They kind of brought back the best of the best in regards to the Mass Effect developers' universe. Old developers like Dusty Everman, Derek Watts, Brennan Holmes, some names that have been synonymous with the BioWare universe are coming back, and not just coming back in like just secondary third-party roles, but coming back in really prominent positions within the company. Narrative designers, art directors, producers, and senior designers, just a lot of important positions to hopefully make Mass Effect 5 what any of these other games should have been the whole time. BioWare has stated that they are going to be taking this very seriously, so we're hoping that it doesn't get kind of that secondary treatment that it got when EA purchased it the first time. EA is still putting money into Anthem in hopes that it has kind of a No Man's Sky revival, so there is a little bit of hope for BioWare as it sits, but they're kind of putting all their chips in this one basket. If Mass Effect 5 doesn't really do what it's supposed to do, we might not see any more games from BioWare. So that's the news in the Mass Effect realm. Now, this is a game that I'm going to talk about that I really have zero idea what I'm saying. I really got the rundown from my main researcher, Foxy Woxy, and she did explain it very, very well, but I'm going to try to mimic what she told me in hopes to help you guys understand what's going on with Diablo 4. The latest developer update is all about itemization, so that's kind of the big news with this game is its update. The changes in Diablo 4's itemization systems were driven by 3 core ideals. First, they want to strengthen the class identity by providing intuitive fantasy hooks. This means that items and skills that lean into the fantasy of your class are going to be the best. Secondly, they're going to try to support deeper customization throughout the itemization. So items that should support and enhance your class won't define the class. And thirdly, and finally, they're going to be landing on overall depth somewhere between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 feel. That's what they're going for with the Diablo 4, depth of story and depth of characters and depth of play. They're aiming to provide years of things to discover and countless ways to build your classes within Diablo 4. So glad you guys are excited for this one. A little bit more news on it. Blizzard is making substantial changes to the core itemization, kind of like we were just talking about, including the addition of weapon speed, which basically what I'm saying is if you have a smaller weapon, it's going to move faster than a bigger weapon. Like a one-handed sword, you'll have a little bit faster speed than with a two-handed sword. And then a lot of physical items are going to have inherently physical characteristics. Again, another really good example is things like your shield are going to inherently have the ability or the power to block without, interfering or negating it because of all of the other magical properties that it might contain. Testing has shown that the Diablo 4 skill tree is headed in a very solid direction, so it's going to be continuously worked on and improved to get the tracks in the direction of things like clustered skill nodes, just to make things like upgrades easier to find within the tree. So heading in the right direction and something that's continuously going to be worked on by the development team as well. So good news in that regard, right? Usually a wizard. Ooh, fantastic. I like the idea of a magical cuddly. Another fun bit of news that I was super excited to report to you guys. Not a whole lot on this game in particular, but just a fun little note. Fable, as we all heard in the Xbox Game Showcase, was announced that we should be anticipating a new Fable title in 2020. As far as I understand, that's still the date on it. A new addition to this new titles team is a writer by the name of Anna Megill. I believe we decided her last name was pronounced Megill. She was a lead writer for Control and Dishonored, and on Twitter she posted how excited she was. She just kind of described herself as a cute little writer who lives in an English cottage and writes fairy tales. She also was quoted on Twitter saying that Fable holds a special place in her heart. The first game came out the year that she started in the game development industry, and it's the first game she played with a real developer sense of eye or developer sense of mind. So really excited to see what this type of inspired writing brings to the Fable lore and the Fable world. Slated to launch on Xbox Series X sometimes next year, but again, no definitive date. A little bit of news on Another game that we saw, but this one was announced again in the Game Awards, the Callisto Protocol. The Callisto Protocol is a game that's being developed by the creators of the Dead Space series. It also takes place in like the depths of space. I believe the mentality behind the game is that you're in prison trying to escape from this space prison, and hits the fan, and it's just super creepy horror themed type game in the same vein of Dead Space. However, with little to no explanation, it's been announced that I don't even know how to say this. We've discovered that the creators of the Callisto Protocol have announced that this game will be the newest addition to the PUBG universe. I feel weird just saying that out loud, but okay, so the creators of Dead Space are making a game that is going to fit in the PUBG universe. Yeah, this is real life. This is not something I'm making up off the top of my head. Apparently, the Callisto Protocol is supposed to take place 300 years in the future of the PUBG universe. Now, again, I don't know a lot of PUBG lore, so if anybody wants to help me out with the comments down below or anything along those lines that would maybe insinuate that in the future there's going to be some sort of space prison, I don't know. But there is a whole map on their website if you guys want to check it out. We'll include a link to that website in the description down below so you guys can check it out yourself and maybe see if you buy into it. I'm not sure. This one was a really weird story, and I was really having a hard time wrapping my brain around it. But again, you're a huge PUBG fan, check out Callisto Protocol, I guess. Isn't PUBG geared towards the younger folk? This game's supposed to be scary as shit. I digress. Now, this is going to be, folks, I'm going to try to report on this next story as unbiasedly and just factually as possible with no emotions behind it. But man alive, has it been a tough go for Cyberpunk 2077. So we've all heard about the glitches. We've all heard about the big download. Tough week. We've all heard about the giant download to try to fix some of those glitches when it first came out. It's been politically ostracized in regards to some transphobic things that the developers have said or insinuated, or the game has said or insinuated. So much with this game so far, which, I mean, I had a feeling about it before it came out. Now, I wasn't sure about the game quality or anything. I just, like, the hype around it, there was something about it that was really just, that didn't sit right with me. After 8 years of development on this game, some good news in regards to this is that day one profits for the game, because of the hype, because of everything. Day one, they made profits on the game. 8 years paying all those people to create this game. After the first day of sales, they made a profit. They sold 8 million copies in order to make a profit. All right. Now the company is just struggling to maintain that status. They have refunded millions and millions of games sincerely. Now, granted, they're still sitting at about 13 million units sold. As it sits right now, this game is available for Xbox, Xbox One, PS4, PC, PS5, and then the Xbox Series X, right? The newest one. PlayStation, or Sony, let's say Sony rather, has pulled the game from the digital store. So you're no longer able to purchase Cyberpunk 2077 from the Sony store. That's because literally Sony said they just want to be in good standing with their customers. They don't want to sell their customers a game that won't work. It's basically, what do they say? PS4 was quoted saying they want to secure quality games for their consumers. That's the long and short of that. So that's the first strike this week against Cyberpunk. No longer available to be sold. You can still get hard copies in store, but no longer available to buy the PS4 copy digitally. Secondly, employees of CD Projekt Red are still complaining. Now, this has been an ongoing issue, but they're still complaining about unrealistic deadlines that the game is still setting for them, because this game isn't done yet, because this game is still needs tweaks and testing and all sorts of stuff, because it's had so many issues on both the older consoles and the newer consoles, relatively modern PCs. There's just so many issues with it. The working conditions, especially now that all the glitches are coming to fruition because they've got millions of people playing this game, are just absolutely asinine. All the way back in October, The CEO of the company publicly apologized for the working conditions when he was approached about rumors about complaints from inside sources. Developers were repeatedly telling investors and staff members that the game wasn't finished, that they still needed to work on it, and the PR companies and the PR representatives and things were still telling their investors that it was good to go. On top of all this, the game's already one of the most expensive games of all time to create. The development costs in total were about $314 million. On top of all of this, guys, I had mentioned a little bit about the deception between the actual development team and the PR team that's selling the game to investors. On top of all of this, the development company, CD Projekt Red, has 2 different law firms currently investigating them for misrepresentation in order to obtain financial benefits. This is a crime under Article 286 of the Penal Code. Literally, this game may not even be able to be purchased after all existing copies sell. Basically what had happened is the communication between developers saying this game's not finished and the PR companies selling this game to investment firms or independent investors or anything along those lines were 2 different stories. The news of this is also coming on the heels of another issue that was found with the game in regards to storage size. There have been a lot of issues coming out lately saying that if your storage size of your game, your save file, is more than 8 megabytes, let me reiterate that, 8 megabytes, 8 MB, sometimes those save files can become corrupted and permanently deleted because of the file corruption. The solution to this that CD Projekt Red announced to players and gamers that lost all their game saves and lost all their stuff, their response to this: don't carry too much in your inventory. Don't carry too many crafting materials. Otherwise, start over. That was the response. So there's going to be more news coming out on these lawsuits as time progresses. Again, there's 2 different law firms investigating CD Projekt Red and interviewing their independent investors. I thought I had written that part down too. But yeah, independent investors were losing almost 40, what do we say the math was, 43 to 50% of their investments that they had put into it. Yes, there it is. Lost over 40% of their stock when they bought stock independently in this game and in this company. So lots of people lost a lot of money on this game. I mean, I'm going to ask you guys, this thing could become a collector's item. If this lawsuit goes through and you can't buy this game anymore, this could be the game that shat the bed of all time. I mean, collector's edition, is that reason enough for me to buy the game? Is that reason enough for me to pretend like I might even play it one day? I don't know. What do you guys think? Comment in the comment sections down below, because I'm thinking I might pick this game up. I don't know. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Okay. Next story is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We have some new news in Assassin's Creed. Ubisoft is implemented a feature in the game that's been present in other Assassin's Creed games before, and we weren't sure if it was going to be included in Valhalla or not, and it's kind of an argumentative feature to some people. They're now going to be implementing XP boosts into Valhalla, where you can go into the Ubisoft store, purchase a boost to your XP, and for $10 you can permanently get a 50% increase on acquiring XP, and for $15 you can get a 50% increase on money you acquire. So the people that don't have as much time to play the game, they'll have the ability to play and finish the game and kind of enjoy it just like everybody else. The utilities allows players who lack the time to fully explore the world of Assassin's Creed Valhalla to be able to acquire the game's best gear as well as other items by accelerating their progress. For instance, these players can purchase maps that uncover some interesting locations in the world, but would still have to visit those areas of the world in order to get all the rewards for that. So, a new way to play the game if you don't have time to explore the entire thing. But with this update, they fixed a lot of bugs in Assassin's Creed Valhalla that were also getting reported. This game was a little bit buggy when it first came out. I haven't experienced very many of them myself, but they've also added the Yule Festival in Valhalla, which is in full swing currently. I got lost in it last night, but we're going to try it again the next time I play. So we'll see how that goes. New news in Animal Crossing! By the way, have I said Merry Christmas yet? Today, this day, as of recording this, thumb on the pulse. So, in the past when you're watching it, it's Toy Day. It's Toy Day in Animal Crossing. I anticipate going live a little bit early compared to D&D today, just so I can play a little bit of this Toy Day online. I've already talked to the reindeer once this morning and have gotten my DIY for wrapping paper, so now I've got to deliver some wrapping paper to him. Regular updates. There's news in Animal Crossing aside from the holidays and everything. Not only is it Toy Day today, but we'll also be getting a New Year's event, which is going to be lots of fun. There's going to be a countdown and everything like that. So I hope you guys are going to join us for that. I'm going to be doing a 12-hour stream on New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. So if you guys want to join me, we'll definitely be hanging out a little bit in Animal Crossing sporadically throughout the stream. Also, it's been announced that there are going to be regular updates throughout the year of 2021. Now, whether that means normal seasonal updates like we're getting right now, where it's just kind of fun, holiday-themed moments throughout the year, or if we're going to be actually getting expanded updates within Animal Crossing, like the diving updates that we got. We had a hope or potential for cooking and things like that. So there's a lot of some farming possibilities. So a lot of other opportunities for Animal Crossing to expand this game. And with the popularity of this game, I don't doubt that we'll see this game continue to expand over the next year or two even. But honestly, we still have to get all of it's 2021, so it's the year of the vaccination, right? We got to get all of our villagers vaccinated. My anticipation is that the next update is going to be the vaccination update. What do you think? Comment down below. Another fun bit of news, now that we've kind of gotten through all the real serious stuff, like Animal Crossing vaccinations and Cyberpunk lawsuits, a little bit shorter stories. This one is another game, or I guess another announcement that was thrown out there during the Game Awards. Super Smash Brothers! Sephiroth and Cloud are now joining Super Smash Brothers. This happened a couple days ago officially on the 22nd of December. Really fun announcement that this one was, and it came out with this iconic, in my opinion, image of Sephiroth just slaying Mario. If you watch the announcement, it does zoom in on Mario when we find out that he gets him just right in the overalls. But I think this was such a big moment in the gaming industry this year for all of us, because I think this is one of those few times where collectively everybody that was watching this, as soon as this image popped up on screen, we were all like, oh my god, did that really happen? So I just really wanted to share the announcements of Super Smash Brothers, bringing in so many DLCs. I feel like every time I open Smash Brothers now, it's got another DLC or another opportunity to download fun stuff. So keep your eyes on that if Super Smash is your game. And I absolutely wanted to share this image with everybody because it just was amazing. And everybody I was watching with, I know, had the same reaction that I had. From Super Smash Brothers into Microsoft Flight Simulator, another fun update. We had announced, I think either last news story or the news story before, that Microsoft Flight Simulator had received a modification. Somebody had created a mod to kind of add weather, or at the time it was a fall themed yellowing of leaves type of scenario, type of scenery. Well, Microsoft's come out with an official update that does have winter conditions in it that you can see all across the world at different times. But also the big update with this one is Microsoft Flight Simulator is now compatible with almost all VR setups. So if you've ever wanted to learn how to fly a plane and do it in virtual reality, now's the time. Microsoft Flight Simulator has made that available for you. So enjoy it. I'm going to see if my boy's into it since he's got the Oculus, and see if he wants to fly a plane. Super exciting. Speaking of exciting updates, I know a lot of people in my chat have been super excited about this one, and I don't know how many times I can say super excited before it starts losing all meaning. Stardew Valley finally got its 1.5 update, even though it's only available for PC players right now. It is out and it is available. Also, Steam has coincidingly put Stardew Valley on sale right now. So if there was ever a time you wanted to buy Stardew Valley and experience it in all of its glory, check it out on Steam right now. It's on super sale. Update for PC version. The console version for 1.5 is supposed to be available sometime early next year. So far, a lot of new stuff. And again, I'm not super familiar with the game, so let me try to pretend like I know what I'm talking about. Well, and we're supposed to be able to play together, multiplayer cuddly, and there's going to be like a split screen. Let me start. There's a new beach farm homestead description promising good foraging and fishing and tons of open space. There's going to be new advanced game options in the menu from which you can adjust some of the aspects of the game. A remixed option in the community center bundles sections, which is a guaranteed 1-year completion tick box. a mine rewards drop-down box, and a setting which lets players decide whether or not to allow monsters to spawn on their farm. Split screen, 9 new music tracks, all sorts of stuff coming with this 1.5 update. So I'm hoping, maybe, just maybe, I can get into it. I do secretly love farming. Let's get into another little bit of fun news here. 4-person multiplayer on normal, now it's split screen. Ooh, baby. You don't ever have to hush, Cuddly. I love it when you talk. But I'm talking about football. That was the dumbest way I could have ever said that. Rocket League did team up with the National Football League. There are going to be getting official football decals from all 32 NFL teams. Starting about a week ago on December 17th, all the decals were available to purchase. I'm not sure if they're unlockable at all, but you can buy them. The decals place the logo right on the hood of the car, as you can see with this ugly Kansas City Chiefs car. I couldn't find any promo pictures like this with the Broncos logo on there. I know Broncos will be excited. You guys know I'm excited with my Broncos flag in the background. It also, not only do you get the decal for the team on the hood of your car, but it also does have a special car color palette that matches the logo for every single team. The pack will be available for purchase in-game until the 28th of December. So there's only a few days left from you watching this, if that, to still get that. It's about 800 credits if you want to pick it up. Buy it through Epic and use our boy Nex's Epic code, Nex_INC. Maybe he'll get some credit for it. Another fun game that we play often on stream, Among Us. Among Us news, they did officially release Among Us on Switch, and last Tuesday we celebrated that by getting all of our Switch players involved in a really fun, probably one of the most fun Among Us games I've ever played. So thank you, the community out there that was supporting me and being there for our Among Us game. It was just such a blast, 100%. I did get killed so much in our game last week. It was brutal. It was unfortunate, but I had so much fun. I was laughing the whole time, guys. So I'm so glad that this game is just continuing to expand. I'm really excited that they didn't make it as nearly as expensive as it is on PC as they did on Switch. So that's exciting too. All sorts of fun things coming out with Among Us in this game. I just feel like is just giving us just enough of good news every so often to keep us all playing the game. But the other big announcement with this is that they're getting an entirely new map. They are getting the airship from Innersloth's previous series called Henry Stickmin. It's the Henry Stickmin ship that we'll be playing on. All new tasks, all new skins, and even more to keep you working and guessing, according to the Among Us staff. So super excited about that one. I need to find out a new phrase other than super excited. Wonderfully ecstatic, tremendously anticipated Among Us updates. Lastly, to end the news, we'll get a little bit more Fall Guys information out there. The winter update started Season 3 in Fall Guys. This includes 7 new levels, you guys. I can't remember, did we not get a date on this Fall Guys Season 3? Is this currently available? Isn't this happening as we speak? That's what I thought. So Season 3 is out, it is happening, and with that, let me reiterate all the fun stuff that we received. 30 plus more costumes. Bert, Bort, Bart. Crown ranks. Gold costumes, Rangus Dangus, and 7 new levels. Guys, this game is just the cutest. I can't wait to play more. Cuddly, we've got to play more. I have so much fun when I play with you, so keep in mind that until January 15th, if you have Amazon Prime and you have that connected to your Twitch account, connect Amazon to your Fall Guys account through the settings, and you do get a free winter skin and 3 free crowns. Me and Fox did that the other day to make sure it happened, and it was awesome. Also, there is an opportunity to get a free Santa Claus outfit. It's between the 21st and the 25th of December, so I'll be playing some Fall Guys tonight, maybe some Fall Guys tomorrow during the stream, trying to get that Santa Claus outfit. So keep that in mind, guys. I love you, beautiful beings, so damn much. And I know I don't look as nice this time because I wanted to do a little bit of a like the Hawaiian Santa Claus style. But thank you guys so much for being here for the news. I'm just so glad that you enjoyed the things that I felt were exciting and that I figured out by keeping my thumb on the pulse. Please hit that subscribe button, that like button, comment on any of the stories that you enjoyed down below. We're going to have links to some of the other stories that we talked about down there as well. So thank you again, guys, for swinging by. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks for letting me yap at you.